Hey there, campers. Well, this video is on replacing a freshwater pump in my Damon Intruder 33-foot motorhome. The first thing was to find the darn pump. I looked all over before finally finding it under 4 drawers in the closet. You can see the mirror is giving us a view of the outside there. And anyway, so it's hidden under here. And take out the drawers. And there the little bugger is. So this is the second time that I've replaced this. It's not going to be too difficult, and I'll try to get a video of me doing it since I've already done it once with the same pump. And it wasn't that bad. The older pump, everything fit real well too, so it was pretty easy. Once I found it, it's just difficult to deal with. The reason that I'm replacing it is because I stayed just a little bit too long up north. It was 12 degrees one morning. Turned on the water and it spitted. It was frozen a little bit. I thought, oh good, it broke loose. Well, it must have ruptured the diaphragm or put a little hole in it, because the pump is cycling quite often, making weird sounds, air's coming in the water. So I'm presuming it's the same problem that happened before. 3 years before that, I did the same thing. Stayed a little bit too long. Should have taken the drawers out at night so the space could heat up a little bit. So I'm learning. It just takes time. All right, so we'll get to it. So I wanted to show you how to get these drawers out. They have a little guide that they go in, but there's a little stopper here so your drawers can't come out. They also lock, so you have to reach under there and push up on a little tab, and then the drawer will come out. Almost all RVs have those. So right here is the guy. Once you got that, it'll slip out. So we're going to begin putting this pump in. I wanted to find out where the outflow was. That's important to me because when I take off the hoses, I want to make sure that I know which one could have the most water coming out of it. So I'm going to drain the system. We'll do that in a minute. I'm going to pull these caps off here, and we're going to put some Teflon tape on there. And we'll do that. That'll just help with the leaking. So when applying the Teflon tape, you want to always go the same way as the threads. So righty-tighty, right? So righty-tighty would be clockwise. Get her going. As soon as you get that first wrap, then it'll stay tight. That way when you thread the connection on, it's going to turn the same way as the tape is going. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, we all know that. Sometimes it takes a second. You haven't done it for a while, just to remember what you want to do. Get that first wrap going, then you can pull it a little tighter. I usually just do 2. No sense wasting that. And then you're ready to go. So you want to do a couple obvious things. That's make sure that pump is turned off. You could even put a piece of tape or something over it if somebody else was in here with you. And then the other thing you want to do is make sure that you turn off your hot water heater wherever that switch is. Now your hot water heater is going to have a backflow valve in it, so the when I drain it, it's not going to drain the hot water heater. But I just want to make sure that I don't have that running and accidentally siphon that off and have my hot water heater damaged by having no water in it and it on. So we'll make sure it's off, and then we'll know if we're pulling any hot water when we siphon it here in a minute to try to drain the pipes. You want to locate your drain valves so we can drain the system. So I have a couple of valves here that are in my freshwater sewer compartment. They appear really, though, to drain just a small portion, and mainly that faucet there, cleanup faucet. So I'm not going to open those. And I think the main one I have, we'll go around the side here and get a view of the camp spot. The main valve is over here in my freshwater tank bay, and that valve would be right here. And you can see it goes all the way up and over. This valve is the valve that you turn on when you're pumping water into the tank. Well, not pumping, but from a hose hooked into the water bay when you have a hose. So I'm going to try to capture this water. So I'm going to go get my 5-gallon tank that's not quite empty, a freshwater tank, and then we'll get ready. Now, another thing that you'll want to do is turn on your valves so that the air can follow the water out and won't create a kind of a suction effect. So we're going to turn the main ones on anyway. You can see there's no water pressure in there at all. Okay, I have this more or less situated, so open this up. We're catching the water here. Seems to be coming out pretty good. Okay, there wasn't that much. You're gonna just feel it, see if there's any hot water. There shouldn't be. Nope, there isn't. So I'm just gonna let that go for a minute or two and get that all drained. So another thing that we oftentimes forget is what kind of screws that we have. So these are the special square / Phillips, but the square heads work much better. A lot of motorhomes have them, and I have a square tip, and I'll put that in my little battery operated drill and get ready for that. And I've got a few extra screws here just in case. We'll take those back with us. Nice to have everything there. We've already done the tape because I'm gonna be laying on my belly trying to reach in there. All right. So we got our doors out. We got our gun with our square tip. We've got a few extra screws. We got the pump down here. And then we're gonna go in here and take that out. It should be fairly easy, 4 screws. We do have some crimp. Oh, that's too bad. We have some crimp on for the electrical. So we'll have to see about that. I don't want to cut that if I can, so we're going to work on that next. And then all we have to do is unscrew those 2 hoses and put the new pump in. All right, we'll get to it here. Okay, let's get to it. Hopefully, I'm going to set this inside here for a minute. Hopefully, we don't have to re-strip these. I could just, yeah, perfect. And if you don't know your color coding, just make sure that you see what's going on. So we got a solid black that goes to our white, and then a striped black and white that goes to our red. So we'll remember that. So that was relatively simple. And I've already taken 2 of the screws out. Whoops. A little hard to get in here with all of this stuff. I'll take this guy out. I'm gonna get it in there first. There we go. And okay. That looks good. Okay, now take these guys off. Should be just hand tight. Oh, you know what? I gotta go get a towel, just in case. I had that out right by the pump. I just forgot. Too excited. I hate to get down here on my knees and have to do that kind of stuff, but I have this ready just in case. And we're just gonna unscrew those guys. You can see the Teflon tape I had on from before. Okay, that one. This is the one that where we might get water coming back if it didn't drain good, as we check the outflow on the pump, as you saw earlier. And I feel some water coming out. And we got a little water, so let's pull that pump out of there. Oh, I must have another screw in there somewhere. I don't feel it. That's odd. I do not feel that. Well, let's get down in here. See if we got another issue or something. Oh, yeah. They're just way down in there. I thought I just didn't put them in last time because I was kind of sick. And it's really hard to reach back there. And you have to kind of do it by feel. Make sure you're... That one's the hardest one, appears to see. Okay, got it in the hole now. That doesn't feel like it came out. Nope. We'll just do this with this particular pump. I must have tightened them too tight last time. Or maybe I didn't have the right screws, or who knows what. But they're not, oh, there we go. All right. Yes, sir, Depper. Okay, so we got some new screws. I'm gonna try to rebuild that pump front end, because I think the motor's fine. So I must have screwed them in way too far last time. Okay, old pump's out. We have a little bit of water there. Not bad. We expected some. Got to dampen that as much as possible there. Okay, let's put the new pump in. I'm going to make sure we don't get any of that in the way, and I'm going to hook up the hoses first, since I can move the pump around. I don't want to cross thread these. You just want to get them hand tight, snug. They need to go straight on or they'll leak. Like that one's having a little problem. There we go. Get the angle straight there. It just doesn't want to go. It's just a matter of getting it straight away so the threads start. It seems like this is stuck for whatever reason. Yep. Okay. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, let's pause this. Okay, we're back at it. So I got it started. It was just being a tough little bugger is all. I'll have to check that and make sure it's not leaking. But now it feels better. Just hand tight, like I say. There we go. Okay, now we'll just set this pump up a little straighter. Get that wire there. And if we remembered right, we'd use new cups, but caps on these, but I think these will be fine. We're just going to twist that a little bit, much as we can. It's really hard when you're kind of laying on your belly down here. Some people say cut the hole in the floor, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So we'll just try this, and then we'll just crimp it back. I've got better crimpers in there too. Yeah, that didn't work very good. Okay, so we're gonna go get some caps for these. We'll be right back. When you're boondocking, you gotta have your stuff with you in case something happens. So I finally found two of the right size. Now there, you don't have to twist the wires on. They're gonna get twisted as we turn this. Just keep turning. If you got the right size, they'll tighten up and you're good to go. All right. We'll do this one first since we had the most success here. We might not go through the same hole, but we're not going to make that as tight as we did last time, for sure. Okay. That's good enough. Not a lot of vibration in these pumps, plus we got the carpet there, so. Now for the two hard ones. Reach back on your belly. drop the screw. I think I'll get up on my knees here. That screw doesn't want to stay in as good as the others normally. Yep, I saw it. And number 4. Oh yeah, that's better. That's how they're supposed to go in. Feel for that hole. A lot of feel stuff and mechanics. There we go. Now I want to feel the top of that screw head. I don't want it. Yeah, okay. That's better. All right. Okay. Let's go turn the water on. First, we're going to shut all those valves, or maybe we'll leave them open and let the air get out. So you can watch it back there. Oh, I hear water. So after much more research and deliberation, you'll remember that this guy right here, when I was trying to put it on, was being difficult. Well, that was the problem, where it evidently froze. It had frozen inside this plastic, which doesn't surprise me, and created a suction leak, and that's why the pump was still running. Now I don't have the crimping tool necessary, so I used a round clamp, screw clamp, and I had to put some Teflon tape around this before I inserted the pipe to make sure it was nice and tight, and the Teflon tape would then seal that up once I closed that up. Once I did that, everything started working great. So just a lesson. Sometimes we think what we're doing is correct. It doesn't work. We get a little disappointed, and give it some thought, take a day off, come back to it, and things might work themselves out.